Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here once again with some more geography. Now, I'm pretty sure I have a really good feeling that something is definitely up right now because every time before I search for a country, or search for every time before I do the video on the country, I search for the flag to make this little graphic right here. And there was only like 5 flags of this country. Usually there's like a million flags to choose from. There was like 5. So, I've also heard like very like basically near the beginning of when I started doing geography. Now, someone said, I remember reading a comment saying that there's like a made up country or something somewhere. And so as soon as I seen there was no like only like a handful of flags to choose from, that comment just stuck with me apparently because that's the first like thing that came to my mind. And so I'm pretty sure something's going on here. Maybe this was like an April Fool's joke back. Oh, never mind. It is. I just looked at the date, April 1st. Here we go. You're not getting one over on me now. Actually, you probably would have got one over. Actually, no. I was like, even if that comment didn't come in and the no flags and then me talking like this, I probably would have looked the date. Yeah, definitely the day. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day. And plus the video is 13 minutes. Like every video, like lately has been like a 20-minute video. Like the earlier videos, they're only like 10 minutes, but ever since he's had more help in his cast and he's had more segments, every country's been at least 20 minutes. This one's down to 13 minutes, which means, but even though I did think about it for a split second just to skip it and do another country, but no, this seems fun. For a split second, why would I do that? This seems fun. So, and I've definitely never heard of this name before. What is this? QITZIKWAKA. Where is this? Where is this country located? This would be so bad right now if this country does exist, and I'm totally like playing it off like it doesn't exist and this thing actually exists. Part of me is actually there's a small part of me is actually afraid of this right now, since I'm like, yeah, since I convinced myself that this is a fake country now. Part of me now is thinking I might regret saying this stuff. But anyway, we're gonna jump into this, guys. I'm definitely I'm so curious. Is he back in his office here, I guess? I kind of feel bad now because if this is a fake country or something like that, it makes me feel like I should just go along with it, just for the few people that watch this before they've watched the actual video. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna get into this. Come on, Paul, let's do it.
Or conquest from another people group. But then every so often you get a country that was established by a group of people that got lost in the desert and then were promised land from an African prince if they could survive in a haunted cave that nobody wanted. Welcome to the world's only accidental underground country by Buddhist monks from Russia.
What?
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbs. At the time of filming this episode, as you know, the coronavirus pandemic isolation period is going on, so I'm gonna have to film all my episodes in my office until further notice. Oh, what the? Art is here.
Hey man, you want some coffee?
What kind of coffee are you drinking from?
From a Geography Now mug. I'm drinking from that.
Well,
it looks so good in this Geography Now shirt.
If you'd like to be like Art and get a Geography Now shirt, you could do so at where?
GeographyNow.com.
Anyway, oftentimes QITZIKWAKA is overlooked by most people from the maps because half the time you technically can't see it. Much of it is literally underground. When you live in the desert and need to flourish sometimes, you gotta be a little creative. And when it comes to these people, the very essence of their existence depends solely on creativity. Let's jump to the map now, shall we?
All right.
QITZIKWAKA gets its name from the words Kitzi, which means poison, and Kwaka, which means cave. Why would a country be called Poison Cave? It's a very long story, we'll discuss it later in this episode, but basically it kind of had to do with a dare.
That makes no sense. I am more confused than ever.
Great, we're on the right track. First of all, the country is landlocked, located in the Sahara close to the tri-point of Niger, Chad, and Libya. The nation, which is shaped like a submarine, is about 4,500 square miles or 12,000 square kilometers in size, making it just bigger than the country of Qatar. Within the country, there are only two main settlement towns, the capital Gur, which is situated entirely within the Mogadinza crater. From there, the only other inhabited town is Kirkra, right next to the Kirkra Reservoir. The country is served by the one and only international airport with only a single runway, Irksha International. The airport only services 3 international flights to Niamey, N'Djamena, and Alista. Getting around in QITZIKWAKA might seem daunting as there doesn't seem to be any roadways connecting the towns and airport. However, the interesting thing is that the country has invested in one of Africa's largest feats of engineering and has developed the Q1 and Q2 highways that connect the 3 points of habitation. You can't see them though because the roadways are almost entirely underground and have pit stops along the way. These were constructed to avoid the harsh desert temperatures and conditions above ground and allow optimal transport. Otherwise, the only other means of transport abroad would be the Trans-Saharan Highway that passes through from Libya and continues on to Agadez, Niger. Now here's the fascinating thing though. Above ground, QITZIKWAKA only has 2 main settlements, the ones we talked about, but below ground, the country has more subterranean villages with a higher population than those above. In fact, the capital Gur has more subterranean dwellings than above it. Kirkra is actually the 3rd largest town with only about 15,000 people.
Come on, man. My God. Okay, now I'm absolutely, there's no way I'm buying it. This is definitely a fake country. There's a part of me that was hoping for a new country. A part of me, I was really hoping for it. And then once they did the underground stuff, okay, come on. How expensive would all those underground roads and towns be? Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way I wouldn't have heard of this somewhere on YouTube or the internet or something, like heard about this underground, it'd be like Atlantis. Like this is like the underground city, instead of the underground city in the ocean, or whatever it's called. But come on, man. I'm loving this though, because my mind is playing tricks on me. I was like, do I take this, when I'm listening to information, like, do I take this seriously? Or like, part of me wants to take it seriously. The other part is telling me, listen to this. Yeah, this is a real country. Do it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think so far.
Along the Q2 Underground Highway, you find the 2nd largest village, Barsha, which has about 34,000 people, making it the world's largest subterranean town. Yeah, these people do not want to get sunburned. I mean, in the summer months, surface temperatures can reach above 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 degrees Celsius. More people actually prefer to live underground than above ground as the temperature is easier to regulate. This is why many of the subterranean houses have pipe vents installed. Many homes and businesses look kind of rugged and rustic with these raggedy stone walls, while others are more modern and developed with shopping centers and tiled walkways. Now that I think about it, I think I did a video about this topic. Anyway, some top notable spots in case if you'd like to visit include the Temple of Alten.
I gotta give it up for Paul though, man. Like, he's keeping a straight face, man. This guy is dedicated. What the Thorn of Hudson? What?
Anyway, some top notable spots in case if you'd like to visit include the Temple of Alten, the Thorn Huts of Shokshin, the abandoned fortress of Enasha, the Pillars of Kevha, and the Ula Underground Oasis. Yeah, so as you can kind of tell by now, this country kind of likes to keep things literally on the down low. But above ground, lots of things are happening too. Which brings us to...
Oasis, huh?
QITZIKWAKA historically was actually a land that the native Maba tribe in the area actually kind of feared, because they believed that all the land around the Mogadinza crater was cursed and filled with ghosts and overall death. Turns out it was actually just a natural gas leak. See, the Mogadinza crater is actually situated on the Wuta Natural Gas Cavern, a deposit in the middle of the Sahara. This cavern has flammable floor pockets that leak and can explode if exposed to fire. Foolish travelers in the past would often camp by not knowing about the hazard, and when it came time to get warm, it was kind of like...
Man, what a long journey. I guess I need to camp here for the night. And what a better way to camp than setting up a nice hot campfire. I'll just light up this tinder and... Okay then. Wow, and there's scorpions everywhere. This place is terrible.
Yeah, and that's kind of why nobody really wanted to live here for the longest time. Anyway, the country is entirely situated within the Saharan desert with arid dunes and rocky outcroppings that extend to the surface. The nation's tallest point being Hadersha Peak, right on the Mokadinza crater.
I love how this is the Sahara Desert, and there's an oasis with like beautiful like springs and water and everything right underneath the surface in the Sahara Desert. Damn. That'd be pretty nice, right?
The country also has no rivers, and the largest body of water, of course, being the Kirkra Reservoir in the Kirkra crater. This sits on the Kirkra Aquifer, a deep underground hydration deposit that fortunately feeds salty, brackish water into the crater naturally. Since the Kirkra Reservoir is the only natural water source for them, they've invested heavily in desalination plants that pretty much hydrate the entire country. And after the people came in and settled the area, they actually found a way to harness the natural gas deposits, and that's where they get a lot of their money from. Today, QITZIKWAKA is the smallest African country dependent on the petroleum industry. It makes about 2/3 of their exports, and over half of their GDP is dependent on natural gas. Most of the petroleum industry is state-run, and almost all the profits are redirected into the nation's fund reservoir, which in return also distributes into infrastructure development.
We should hang out sometime.
This is basically how they were able to expand their tunnel system to accommodate over half of the entire population. And with the arid hot landscape, there are also some species you can find skimpering around in the desert. And with that, here's Gary Harlow to explain.
Here we go. No. Don't do it.
As a country locked away in the middle of the Sahara, you would think that it would be impossible for anything to survive. But think twice, because here's some of the most fascinating species that can be found specifically and only in this country, such as the blue-spotted giraffe, the Saharan obese baboon, the reservoir clawfish, the desert spiked tortoise, the three-legged shrew, flying lavender geckos, and the national animal, the highly venomous.
All right. Even though the Photoshop is pretty bad, come on now. And versatile.
Flying lavender gecko.
It was a friggin' dragon. All right. Truly, if anyone's watching this, because this is not anyone's country, so a lot of people I know just love to watch their own country, and that's it. And so I'm kind of curious to see how many views this video actually gets, because obviously no one lives in this country. But I think the few people who might be watching this right now might be ones who've already seen it and want to see if I fell for it or something. But obviously it was kind of spoiled for me. But for those of you who've seen this first, how long or at all did it take for you to realize this was a fake country? I mean, the underground stuff, man, like, if I didn't know it was April 1st, or if anyone didn't see that comment, I would, as soon as they did the underground stuff, I'd be extremely suspicious. Like, I'd be like, come on. But as soon as I see this dang turtle with, like, icicles coming out of its side, I'm like, yeah, no, there's no way. It's like, come on now. They're trying to push the envelope to see it. I'm not even halfway through this video. I'll just shut up now. We're going to finish this. Oh my God, this is freaking great.
That spiked tortoise, the three-legged shrew, flying lavender geckos, and the national animal, the highly venomous and fatal cave whip scorpion. And that little feisty guy is beloved by all for good reason, but we'll discuss that later. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Gary. And speaking of animals, food, which is sometimes made of animals. Sorry, it's true. Now, of course, with almost no above-ground arable land, most food from QITZIKWAKA is actually imported from their neighbors. As a desert country, you would assume, yeah, they probably grow, typical desert crops like dates. And they do to some extent. However, they're also well known for their underground temperate produce. They use the cave systems to their advantage, and with the more cooler, humid climate, they've been able to harvest various species of moss and fungi, which are commonly used in QITZIKWAK cuisine, such as mas ofose, moss pearl cake, mushroom hummus, and the national dish, moss mushroom stew. So yeah, caves, moss, deserts, and scorpions. Things are getting kind of interesting, aren't they? Well, you haven't seen anything yet, because once you meet the people of this country, you're gonna have your minds blown. In 3, 2.
I can't wait, man.
Now, QITZIKWAKA is
Please, Paul, please show me some like aliens. Oh, you've done the icicle tortoise. I want to see some like crazy looking people right now. Come on, Paul, please don't disappoint. Let's do it.
probably Africa's strangest demographic anomaly because of 2 reasons. Number 1, it's the only African country that was colonized by Asians. And number 2, it technically wasn't really colonized because nobody really wanted it in the beginning. At this point, you're probably more confused than ever.
You bet I am!
Perfect, that's great. Here's the graph. First of all, the country has about 101,000 people and is the African country with the highest percentage of Buddhists per capita. The nation is just over half native Kitsimaba at about 52%, followed by the second largest group, the Kitzikalmik, at around 30%. From there, about 14% are Afro-Slav, whom are mostly Russian-descended Europeans that have either lived for generations upon the 18th century or migrated from Russia in the second Slavic wave of the 1970s. From there, the remaining 4% are other groups, mostly Berber or Nilo-Saharan African groups that have moved in from surrounding countries. They use the East African shilling as their currency, they use the type Q plug outlet, and they drive on the left side of the road but with left-hand steering wheels as well. So at this point, you're probably going,
Wait, Asians, Buddhists, Africa? What the
calm down, you ignorant squizzle-twit. I'll explain. Now, as we already explained in the Russia and Russian Republics Explained videos, the Republic of Kalmykia, found in Russia, is the largest Buddhist community in Europe. Back in the 1600s, the Oryat Mongol people migrated all the way from what is now eastern China into the Kalmykia Republic, which is now in Russia. And if you thought that migration was pretty far, oh no, the Kalmyks definitely were not done migrating. If you remember back in the Djibouti episode, we mentioned that there was a very brief settlement from Russian Cossacks in Djibouti called Sagalo. Now, this settlement didn't really last very long.
Honestly, right now, I can't take anything seriously. Like, for right now, the whole Buddhist thing, and I think the Cossack thing, I have no idea if he's referring to something that's actual fact from a previous video that I just don't remember, or if it's just total BS. And he's playing tricks with me. My mind is kind of going in circles right now. It's like, is this true? God.
And the French came in and they kind of deported all the Russians back to Russia. However, amidst that group were some Kalmyk Buddhist monks. And as the French came in, the Kalmyks were like, oh, we're not sticking around. We gotta run into the desert. Long story short, these Buddhist monks got lost in the Sahara and met a prince of the Maba tribe named Inasha. Basically, it kind of went down like this. Hey, Saharan prince guy, we've been traveling. We need a place to stay. Can we live in your lands?
There's a haunted cave that keeps killing people over there with explosions, and it has lots of scorpions. Nobody wants that land. If you can survive there, you can have it. And I promise my people will support you 100%.
Whoa, okay, score. Great deal. Well, for one, it's pretty hot. I guess we should get out of the sun. You guys got any shovels? And that's kind of how it started. The Kalmyks discovered which areas had gas fumes to avoid, and after digging extensively, they found a way to swell up the aquifer to fill in the reservoir. Over the next few decades, word spread back to the motherland, a lot more Kalmyks came in, and that's how the 2 main groups, the Kitsimaba and Kitzikalmik, kind of worked together to create this nation. They were brought together through the stress of survival. The people of this country are called Kitzikwaks, and that is also the name of the national language, which is basically kind of like a fusion between...
I'm disappointed. I wanted aliens.
between the native Maba language and Kalmyk. It's written in both the Latin and the Cyrillic alphabet, kind of like an homage to the Russian roots of the Kalmyk people. As a country with strong ties to Kalmykia, of course, Buddhism was brought in, and today about a third of the country adhere to the religion. Many of the temples and shrines are found, especially underground, and they're pretty well maintained. Today, you can see a lot of traditions like women that wear the Kitsikwak Kalmyk dress. Also, camel racing and desert chess are very famous pastimes as well. Well, we kind of pretty much already explained the brief history of the country, so let's just kind of jump into the famous people, shall we? Some famous notable people from QITZIKWAKA might include Gustav Reshku, Anna Elehu, Brandon Pafshko, Gordon Seychelles, Duncan Welsh, Aaron Gwefshin, Jantin Noesher, Carlos Geushwai, Fernando Rivrashli, Adam Kevshosh, Tim Geshai, Samri Aoishi, and Laith Aksheva. So there you go. Asian Buddhist desert tunnel people that work with natives, and they made a country, and there's lots of natural gas, and they use that money to make their country. That's basically QITZIKWAKA. You get the deal. A lot of their development, though, depended on their relations to the outside world, though. And of course, that means we gotta finish off this episode with the...
All right. Who is a top friend right now to this awesome country? I want to visit this country. I don't even know. I'm gonna go with random thought. I'm going with Brazil.
When you're a small desert nation with a petroleum industry in the middle of nowhere and everybody around you is watching, you kind of have to play your cards right with diplomacy. First of all, when it comes to friends, QITZIKWAKA is of course close to their immediate neighbors, Niger, Chad, and Libya. These countries provide the most trade, and Libya kind of acts as their closest gateway to Europe through the Mediterranean. Recent conflict years in Libya, though, have been rough in the import sector, so now they depend more on Niger's connections through Algeria to circumnavigate northwards. Canada and Russia are key players that invested in the Subterranean construction projects, as Russia is world-renowned for having some of the world's deepest...
That's right, man. We've been helping them like for so long with these construction projects. You know, I just didn't want to brag, but yeah, we have.
That invested in the Subterranean construction projects, as Russia is world-renowned for having some of the world's deepest and fortified underground tunnel systems, and Montreal, Quebec has the world's largest underground commercial network. QITZIKWAKA took notes from contractors that flew in to help with projects, and today the countries have close ties, and of course much of the population of QITZIKWAKA has Russian heritage. Mongolia and Thailand and Japan are key players in Buddhist tourism, as all three countries are Buddhist powerhouses. Mongols connect well too, as the Oryat Kalmyk population are essentially their cousins. When it comes to their best friends, however, the QITZIKWAKs will always go back to the motherland, the Kalmykia Republic of Russia. The two are closely connected and have historical ties. QITZIKWAKs often go back to visit their ancestral homeland, and the Kalmyks often visit to see how their distant African cousins are doing. In the end, they will always be there for each other. Ah, what great friends. In conclusion, QITZIKWAKA is a nation that thrives off... you guys know that this is an April Fool's video by now. Come on, I've been doing this for years. This has happened...
We got you guys!
April Fools!
That's right. If you got tricked, you have to buy a Geography Now shirt.
At where?
GeographyNow.com.
April Fools! April Fools.
April Fools.
Hope you guys had a great April Fools. Stay tuned. The Vasco Dam Republic is coming up next.
Oh my god, that was freaking awesome. That was awesome. Best country yet. Best country, hands down. No, what's actually really interesting? I'm gonna look at the views. I'm good at the views this country's got. I can't even pronounce. I don't even know how to pronounce that country still. Over 800,000 views. This country was the last three countries we did. My God, it has more views. A country that doesn't exist has more views than the last few countries we just did. Oh my God, I'm sorry, St. Vincent and you guys. Wow, my stomach hurts now. Oh my God, that was, excuse me, that was pretty epic. That was pretty cool. I must admit, they did a good job. It would have been really. It would have been even more funnier if they had like the whole cast doing that. That'd be kind of cool, man. Well, like the music part and all I don't know. It would have been kind of cool. I guess that's why it was so short, the whole COVID thing, and they couldn't get the whole group together, I guess. But awesome country, guys. Let me know below if you guys were fooled by this or how far it took you if you watched this before I did. And those of you, I don't know if you watched this for the first time with me, let me know below what you guys thought. Pretty cool, huh? Come on now. I want some aliens, though. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't see no aliens. Like, come on. You went that far. You could have went a little farther. Brought some aliens in. But anyways, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button below, please, and thank you. And yeah, there you have it, guys. A most amazing country. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in future videos. You guys have a great day. I'm out of here. Woo!